What up, Bravelitos? Welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about cancer. Right? We live in the third world, and we don't have the best cancer treatment in the world. But today and this month is the month for breast cancer awareness. So October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and cancer in general needs to receive a lot of attention, particularly in developing countries like Guyana. But also, if you live in a developed country, there's a lot that you need to know about cancer that we might be taking for granted. So in this video, I'm going to discuss three questions. What is cancer? What causes cancer? And is cancer treatment a scam by drug companies? Stay tuned.
Oh, this is my day. I'm ready to take it on, come what may.
So for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we want to tackle a number of questions, about 10 questions, but today we're only going to tackle 3 questions. Now, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, click the subscribe button and click that bell also so that you can get notifications whenever I post videos to this channel. This channel is Rafael Nation. The followers of this channel are Rafaelitos, and we cover politics, economics, food, and fun. But today, because of International Cancer Awareness Month, I want to talk about cancer, and I want to talk about cancer eventually in the context of Guyana, but the knowledge and the information is valuable for anybody anywhere in the world. Now, you might want to know, how come I am talking about cancer? Where do I get my knowledge and my authority to speak about cancer? Well, the fact is that I am a cancer researcher. I'm a medical scientist. More specifically, I am a medical physicist, a MRI physicist. So I've done cancer research from the standpoint of imaging and also from the standpoint of basic laboratory biochemistry research. So that is where I'm coming from. I've made a couple of videos before. My initial video, if you check the initial video to this on this channel, I talk about my journey to becoming a medical scientist. And in a previous video, I also covered some aspects of cancer treatment that are available at the Georgetown Hospital in Guyana. But let's talk about cancer. The question is, what is cancer? Well, cancer is a very complex disease. It is a disease that is of genetic origin. It is at its core, at its basic form, a cell growth, cell division, cell multiplication disease, right? So this is a situation where cells begin to grow uncontrollably, and then they become tumors, and those tumors eventually begin to spread throughout the body, right? So cancer is a situation where the control of cell division, cell growth, cell multiplication gets lost. The body no longer controls that, and therefore these rogue cells begin to behave independent of the body, and then they take over an organ system, and then eventually the entire body. And what makes cancer deadly is that these tumors disrupt the function of other organ systems. So a cancer in the lung will eventually prevent the lung from doing its function. A cancer in the brain will prevent the brain from doing its function, and so on and so on. So cancer is basically a cell division, a cell multiplication disease problem. Question 2, what causes cancer? So we know a lot more about what causes cancer now than we did 10 years or 20 years or even 50 years ago. We know that at its core, cancer is caused by genetic mutations. Cancer is a genetic disease, right? So I actually did my thesis research, my doctoral thesis research on the genetic damage that results in cancer and explore why certain kinds of treatments like radiation therapy and chemotherapy can end up causing recurrence or secondary cancers, because the genetic damage that is caused by radiation therapy could result in mutations that eventually cause cancer to come back to recur, right? So cancer is caused by genetic damage. We know that for certain. At its core, all the types of cancers, what they have in common is that genetic damage, genetic mutations, DNA damage, genetic mutations are at the core of the cause of cancer. Okay, so question number 3, right? The most important question for this video is cancer treatment a scam by drug companies? The answer I'd have to give you, honestly, the answer is no, right? There's not a scam involved in cancer treatment. It's very expensive, and it's also not readily available, but it's not a scam. And these are the reasons why I think it's not a scam. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I think cancer treatment is not a scam. The first reason is because cancer research is being done mostly in academic universities, right? So in Western medicine, cancer is being done in universities that specialize in cancer research. And a lot of this research gets published in peer-reviewed journals, which are not easy to read and which are not easily accessible, because you have to pay, you have to become a member of these organizations to be professional organizations to be able to access the content of the journals. And because a lot of these journals are published in the United States and Canada and in Europe, they tend to want you to pay for them in euros and Canadian dollars and US dollars to be able to access the articles. So most of the people around the world cannot read a lot of the vital findings that are being discovered by these cancer research groups. Number two, second reason why cancer research and the information on cancer is not readily available is because drug companies that also do cancer research do it for as a business. So they put a huge capital layout investment into the discoveries, the drug discoveries, and the research that goes into developing treatments for cancer, and they like to protect their findings with patents. For example, I've worked for a few drug companies, and the work I did, I actually had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, a confidentiality agreement. So I can't even say to you what kind of research I did and what my findings were, because I'm bound by confidentiality agreements. So if you work for a drug company, and the drug companies in general tend to bind a lot of what they discover by these confidentiality agreements and patents, and so information does not become readily available to the public. And so reason number 3 is that it is really very, very expensive research. There is a lot of capital and many expensive types of equipment that go into drug research, to pharmaceutical research, drug discovery, and lots of teams of very, very highly trained personnel. And then when you get to the point where it goes from the laboratory to animal trials and then to clinical trials in patients, there is a lot of regulations to follow and a very expensive and lengthy process to get to the point where it gets approved by, say, the Food and Drug Administration for treatment to be made available to the public. And so it's a very lengthy process, can take about 20 years to develop, and it's also extremely expensive, can take billions of dollars to develop a treatment for cancer. And so at the end of the day, the drug companies would like to recoup the cost of drug development. And so they have patents that they like, 20-year patents that they like to enforce to make sure that they get paid for the investment of time and money and resources and so on. So there's a lot of control in that aspect of it. But like I said, it's justified because it's extremely expensive research to do. So because it's published in peer-reviewed journals when it's done by say, universities that receive federal funds, and those journals are not easily accessible to the public. And because you have to sign non-disclosure agreements and confidentiality agreements when you work with the drug companies, and because the process is so lengthy and controlled by patents and extremely expensive to bring a drug to market, the treatment for cancer can be not readily available and not easily accessible, and extremely expensive when it does become available or accessible, right? So it's a very, very complicated process. And so it might appear as if the drug companies are running a scam because it appears as if they want to keep you. They're not interested in finding a cure because it's so expensive and they make so much money that they just want to keep offering you a treatment that isn't exactly a cure. It appears that way. But I submit to you that it's not. In fact, it is a very expensive area of research. There's a lot of progress being made, but the public is not being made aware of it simply because of all of the rules and regulations that control the industry, the pharmaceutical industry, the FDA rules and so on, because it's an expensive process and because a lot of the information is not readily available and accessible to the public. Now, I set up another channel, and I put a link to it here, called Medical Biosciences, where my intention was, in fact, to make a lot of this information available through YouTube and through YouTube videos. And I never really got around to filling that channel with information. But I also have a website where I plan to post information about these medical topics, right? About the current and recent developments in cancer research, in heart disease research, in brain research, things like hydrocephalus and Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease. These are the things that I've worked on in the past and I'm able to understand and to share with you. So I have another channel that I've set up to do that. I'm going to post this video there as well as all the other videos that I've been collecting over the last couple of years, and in future videos that I will discuss some of these topics. This is going to be my medical channel. But here's a summary. The deal is, cancer is caused by genetic mutations, and the drug companies are not in a scam to rob you for a cancer treatment just because it is a very expensive process. Now, I hope you find this information useful. I hope you will share this information with friends and family around the world. Let them know what's happening in cancer research and let them know what's happening in Guyana. And remember to like and subscribe, and you can support the channel on Patreon, on PayPal, and let us share the information, the current information about cancer treatment. And in the comments below, tell me what you think about cancer treatment. Whether you think it's a scam by drug companies, or whether in fact you believe there is going to be a cure, or there already is a cure, or we're on our way to finding a cure for some of these cancers. In future, I'm going to give you a little more details about other aspects of the cancer industry and cancer treatment, and other types of cancers and the cause and the nature and what the current research is on these cancers. Remember to subscribe to my other channel. I will be posting videos there, and share this video with friends and family around the world. Let them know what's happening in cancer treatment and cancer care in Guyana and around the world. Later!